Hello everyone, my name is Moses. I work at Esri as an ArcGIS analyst, and today we are going to show you how you can quickly produce form maps in ArcGIS Pro and make sure that your production is aesthetic. And on this screen, these are the things that we should make sure we have achieved on. And on a single page, we are going to produce a series of form maps of Florida that illustrate the three zones in yours. And one of the map should be for the whole state, and the other three should show the other three different zones. The statement should be cast on a coordinate set for used for Florida, and then each of the three zones should be cast on a coordinate system that is used for that specific zone. And for each of the three zone maps, we need to plot a central meridian or the standard parallels, the force origin axis. And one thing that you should note here is that there should be 4 lines on the east and west zones and 6 lines on the northern zone. And the next thing will be doing the labeling, the necessary labeling. So the data that was used for this project came from the World Water Bodies, from ArcGIS Herb, used the boundaries and from natural earth data, the US county boundaries from the United States Census Bureau. And then I also used John Nelson's awesome styles. So moving on, so let's get our attention to ArcGIS Pro, and I'll just show you the steps that I undertook to achieve on these objective. So basically, as it is supposed to be, you start your ArcGIS Pro, you log in with your username and password, and then you can start working on a map, and you should have your data set right. So I went ahead, got my data set from the previously mentioned sites, split it up all together, and you can see on my screen I have the northern zone, I have the eastern zone, and then I have the western zone. And you can see everything that is included in this map. In the content, I have the 3 zones here, and then I have the water bodies. So from this step, I went ahead to get each map for each zone, and to do that in ArcGIS Pro, you can come to this option of map, and then you can copy your map and once you copy each map, you can double click on it and open each one on its own tab. And then from there, you can go ahead and start modifying details for each map. So that's what I did for each one of these maps. And one thing that you will realize is that, I used these cool monochrome color to symbolize one thing that in cartography that you need to be cautious, make sure that you are taking into consideration is how you create harmony in your content. So moving on, I did the same for the west zone. So, and everything is displayed as it is on the screen. You can do a lot of stuff on each map. So, and the most important section of this project, where you are going to make sure that you are achieving on the things that we saw earlier on the instruction, on what we are supposed to make sure that we are taking on as achieved. This is where you are supposed to do that, and this is called the layout. This is where you do the labeling for your map. This is where you arrange your layout. You make sure that you are maximizing on the space and making sure that you're not leaving any space unused, or as I can say, misusing your space. So while there are a lot of things that you can do in the layout, it's very easy for you to miss out most of the important things. And in ArcGIS Pro, you can really do a lot with your layout. And the thing that I usually do when I'm working on layout is to make sure that I have my guides on. You can see when I'm using labels, when I'm pressing layouts in the spaces where they are, all the map frames in the places they are supposed to be falling on, I usually leverage the grids, and you can turn that on by going to add grids, and then you can use these options. But I'm going to turn that off because I've completed doing anything that I need to do for each map. And for each zone, and one thing that I mentioned here is that each zone is projected on its, in its local coordinate system. And for the Florida North, I have used a Lambert conformal conic projection because you will realize that for the state plane coordinate system that each state that is long east west is usually plotted in a Lambert conformal sort of projection to make sure that we are maximizing to maintain the accuracy. And the opposite happens for these which are along north-south. We usually make sure that we are casting that on a transverse Mercator projection. So the other things that we need to show are the grids, and to the way I added the grids, I came to the insert option, and there is the grids, and I'll show you that. Well, I've chosen the Florida North, and these are the grids. Once you add the grids, when a map frame is selected, the grids that you add are added to that map frame. So I'm on Florida North, and the grids that I have three types. So I have the one that I can take them off just to make sure that I'm illustrating it the most perfect way. So you can see we have the one that shows the natural origin and the forced origin. So they are straight lines in all the state plane coordinate systems. And our custom origin for this one is 600,000. And for each setting of the coordinate system, you can come to the properties, right click on the coordinate system, come to the properties, and then there are a couple of settings that you need to change here. So, and once you, still again, going back to the instructions that we have, that's why I'm referencing these all, and this is the section that I came to change everything. So you can see my inner bars, 600,000 for that particular one. And you just do the same for the ticks and the grid lines. So that's what I did. And then so this is our measured grid, and there is, we have, and then we have the graticule. So this is the graticule, and I'm going to take it on. And this particular shows us how the SPSC, diffracts from the actual press. You can see it's curvy in array. So that's the same approach that I took to get these lines, as you can see. And then the same, I added the graticules for this one. And then if you do the right spacing, you just have to know the right spacing when you have the instruction, and then that's where you implement for each one of these. And by that, you're able to demonstrate or show how the SPC, or the state plane coordinate system, usually works. So the same process is followed for these other two zones, west and east, that is Florida zones. And each one of these has, has the origin as 200,000 meters. And once I was able to achieve on that, the next step was labeling, of which I'm going to touch for just 1 or 2 minutes. So for your map, make sure that this harmony is being, translated across the whole layout. So, and one thing that, beside from planning your layout, you should make sure that, as you can see, I mean, this is not the best, but you, for any, the upcoming cartographers, it would be nice to create the hierarchy or in text content that you have. I was trying to get this put together by showing that you can have, depending on what you are representing using labels, you can just present it in this way, just use the text hierarchy, and then the message drives itself. And, just to finish this, you can do a lot, literally a lot in ArcGIS Pro, including bringing in or inserting photos. If your company has logos and all that you would like to bring in, you can do all that. And one other cool thing that, as a cartographer, you should never forget is just give the credits to whom they are due. And all this can be achieved in ArcGIS Pro, and it's a cool tool that you can use in your day-to-day cartography work. And I believe that there is still a lot that you can learn on your own, things that I've also even not been able to get to know. And I really hope you enjoyed my presentation on this. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me, and then I'll be right back here with you. Thank you very much.